morning, Year 6. Welcome back to Virtual Southdale. I hope you've had a nice, restful break and you are ready to learn for the next half term. I am excited to introduce our brand new topic, the Titanic. As part of this topic, we are hoping to remember the people involved in this great tragedy. It still captures the imagination 108 years later from the actual incident itself. I'll start introducing this great vessel by reading the first chapter of this book, 10 True Tales, Titanic Young Survivors, by Alan Zullo. It's written from the perspective of young people aboard the great liner and after extensive research from the author, so it's written in the shoes of children who were aboard the boat at the time. The first chapter does give a really good introduction about the boat, and it will help you in your work in English when you write a postcard with Mrs. Mehebi. So here we go. No maritime disaster in modern history has captivated the public's imagination more than the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Over the years, countless books and articles have examined every conceivable angle of the calamity. Movies have recreated gripping scenes from that fateful night. Museums have been built dedicated solely to the ship and the people she was transporting. Websites, message boards, forums and discussion groups have analysed and debated all aspects of the passengers, crew. There have been worse peacetime tragedies at sea, before and after the Titanic's doomed journey. The Chinese junk Texing struck a reef and sank in 1822, killing at least 1,600 persons. The Philippine ferry Doña Paz went down in 1987, claiming more than 4,300 lives. But in terms of sheer worldwide interest, nothing compares with the Titanic, history's most famous and arguably most infamous ship. On April 10th, 1912, the majestic steamship set off on her maiden voyage from Southampton, England, bound for New York City, with 2,208 passengers and crew members on board. She stopped in Cherbourg, France and Queenstown, Ireland before heading out into the Atlantic. 4 days into the crossing, at 11:40 p.m, the ship struck an iceberg. Less than 3 hours later, at 2:20 a.m, April 15th, she sank, taking the lives of an estimated 1,502 passengers and crew members. Reportedly, only 712 people were saved, including 86 children. On so many levels, the disaster stunned people around the globe. The sinking was simply unimaginable. During the construction of the Titanic, and her sister ship the Olympic, her British owner, the White Star Line, published a 1910 publicity brochure boasting, as far as it's possible to do so, these two wonderful vessels are designed to be unsinkable. A major industry publication called her practically unsinkable. But by the time the Titanic was ready to sail, the general public had ignored the word practically and believed she truly was unsinkable. The Titanic was the technological marvel of her time, the largest moving man-made object in the world. She was 882 feet 9 inches long, the length of almost 3 football fields, and 92 feet wide, slightly more than the major league distance from home plate to first base in baseball. From the waterline to the top deck, she rose 60.5 feet. She had 10 decks, the boat deck, the top one, then decks A through G, and 2 more at the bottom for equipment and cargo. The 4-funnelled steamship was equipped with 29 boilers fired by 159 coal-burning furnaces to create the steam that powered her 3 massive propellers. Built to carry more than 3,500 passengers and crew, she could reach a speed of 23 knots, which is 26 miles an hour, and make the Atlantic crossing in a week, an amazing feat back then. She had a double hull and 16 watertight compartments that were designed to keep her afloat in case some of them were breached. Most people lit their homes with gas lanterns. Titanic had electric lights in all the cabins and electric heaters in all the first-class staterooms. Her wireless radio was capable of transmitting messages up to 1,200 miles away, depending on the weather. She had a 50 telephone switchboard, a state-of-the-art hospital, and 4 elevators for the use of first and second-class passengers. When it came to luxury, the Titanic couldn't be matched. Her public rooms were adorned with ornate wood-carved panelling, elaborate glass domes, works of art, the finest furnishings. She featured a heated swimming pool, a fully equipped gymnasium, a regulation squash court, a Turkish bath, which is a fancy sauna, a darkroom for amateur photographers, gourmet restaurants, barbershops, libraries and lounges. The accommodations were as good, if not better, than most hotels of that era. Adding to the allure of the Titanic were the more than 1,300 people who booked passages on her maiden voyage. More than half were British, American and Irish. The rest came from 24 other countries. The passenger list covered all segments of society. In first class, wealthy industrialists, businessmen and upper crust families returning home from European vacations. In second class, young professionals and tradesmen seeking their fortune in America. And in third class, poor immigrants hoping for a better life in the new world. The ship was transporting more than just people. She was carrying their dreams and ambitions. So, your task. To start with, you are going to pick a name from the list you see on your screen. Once you've picked the name of your passenger, you can then research them online using any online search engine. There are countless websites dedicated to survivors and people who didn't survive the journey of the Titanic. Last year, children found it really beneficial to mind map the questions they were going to research when they went about doing it, such as this example. You can present your findings in any way you wish. You can create a fact file in your blue books, or you can film a presentation and send it to us via email or Twitter. Either way, we'd love to know what you find out about some of the people who set sail on the Titanic all those years ago. That's it for topic this week. Hang fire with any research about the ship itself though, we're saving that for next week. This week we are simply concentrating on the people that were sailing aboard that vessel. We cannot wait to read your postcards from English with Mrs. Meherby and see postcard designs from Art with Miss Ryan. So please send us as much as you can via email or Twitter and we cannot wait to see it. See you later.